We've been talking about it for months and now it's finally here. FiLMiC Pro version 7, the subscription model. Now I know a lot of you aren't real happy with FiLMiC Pro, but don't shoot the messenger, okay? So FiLMiC Pro has been working on this a long time. I actually thought version 7 was going to be out back in 2020. Who knows, the pandemic may have stalled it, and then they got acquired by Bending Spoons this year. And so nonetheless, it's here. And today I'm gonna look at the main things they've changed with the interface. And that would of course include the controls. They have new manual controls. They also have a new info slider, which is really important and probably is one of the best things they've added. And then they've added these quick action modals or menus called QAMs, but spelled QAM. These are interesting too, and it gives you multiple ways now to do different settings. By the way, just to be clear, I'm not paid by FiLMiC Pro, I'm not sponsored by FiLMiC Pro, but I did beta test the app. So at first glance, this UI looks pretty much the same. You've got your white balance controls, your different profiles if you bought the film looks. You've got the same presets over here if you have the cinematographer kit. And then you've got your different saturation, vibrance, and histogram controls here. You also have your library, which looks the same. You've got this timecode medallion down here with different waveforms. Those are a little bit different, but that's really it. The rest of everything has been changed, some more dramatically and some more subtle. The camera picker looks a little bit different. Works the same, just a little bit of a different layout. I do like how there's more information there now. Interestingly though, they don't have the 2x lens yet. This is a 14 Pro Max, and by the way, I'm using a small rig cage. Then they have a menu up here. The menu looks very similar to FiLMiC Pro version 6, and then when you step inside each for more detail, they are the exact same as what you're used to if you had FiLMiC Pro version 6. Basically, they had started implementing some of V7 in V6. The biggest thing to me is at the top here, they now have a drop-down menu that shows everything that's going on, which is great. This has been sorely missed in FiLMiC Pro. So you can instantly look here and you see your ISO. Right now it's set to 195. You got your shutter, which is 148. You got your white balance. The format you're shooting, I'm shooting ProRes 422. And then also the color profile. So I love having the information, but they take it one step further. And this is the really cool part. Now you can click on those and change it down here with a quick menu. Again, called QAMs, quick action modals. So now you can come down here and pick a different ISO. Or you can slide the slider to choose the ISO you want. That I really like. Same with the shutter. So now if you click on the shutter at the top, you can come down here and instantly choose a more or less preset. 180-degree shutter rule would be what you would choose most of the time. And so I'm shooting 24 frames per second, which would be 148 shutter. But if I wanted to go to a faster shutter, you could do that, 196. It's equivalent to 90-degree or 45-degree angle. And the angles are nice because whenever you set it on that, no matter what frame rate you do, that will then create the proper motion blur for you. That comes from film cameras originally, the different shutter angle. So I really like that. And then the same goes for white balance. So you click on that and the white balance comes up. You've got your various presets. You can be on auto. Everything works the same as in V6. It's just a little bit of a different layout. And I really do like how you can quickly pop up. One thing you might be seeing here is this is more or less the same as going into this menu here. So you can do white balance here, or you can click here and do it quickly on the screen. So you have two ways to do it. Same with choosing your format. So now you click that and you automatically go into the menu. So instead of having to hit settings and go down 2 or 3 layers into a menu, you can do it from the home screen. And of course, lastly, same thing with the actual color profile. If I wanted to shoot log or flat, or dynamic, which I never shoot, by the way. Natural is fine for this. So it's really quick. And I think that's the overarching theme here of the new design. It's easy to use or easier to use and quicker to access. Now, the other thing that they've changed is when you come up here, you can choose the way you set the exposure and or the focus. You can do reticle, which is the way I've been doing it so far. You can do center weight. This is a way that I use a lot. That way you have a larger sample area for your focus and for your exposure, or you can go to manual. Now this is where, again, the design has gotten considerably different. Instead of having the arc sliders, they now have regular sliders. They just go up and down. This is reminiscent of a lot of other apps on the market, and I do like it. I also think it's a little bit easier to see now because of the different colors they've chosen. I like the yellow, and then the darker shade right here is nice too. That way you can kind of see the numbers. And so over here, just like when I hit shutter up here, you can go to ISO up here, or you can still swipe in. You can come over here and hit ISO and set your ISO with the slider. Same with the shutter. And these are independent controls. So I'm setting it with the slider there on the shutter. And then there's a zoom right here too. At any rate, it's nice now with these sliders that you can individually set the different setting you want here. And when you move it, it'll stay put, it'll lock. And you can see up here when it says it's locked. And so when you come back out here, what I just did, ISO 34, 192nd shutter, that's locked. But then if you undo the reticles, it'll go back to auto until you lock it again. Same with the focus. Focus has a nice slider now too. And if you want to do focus pulls, which is a pretty cool feature in FiLMiC Pro, that's what this aqua and I guess that's pink arrows are for. And that's much easier now to see and to set. And again, that's kind of the overall theme here is stuff is easier to use and easier to access. And I do like it. Speaking of that, audio, same thing. Now you click on the audio, the mic icon, and it pops up. Now right now I don't have an external mic connected, so it's just using automatic gain correction. But if I had a mic, you could select the mic and you could set the levels right here. And one other thing that is new to FiLMiC Pro version 7 is this function button, and you can set what it is. Right now I have it on reactive analytics. So that means if you go in and focus, peaking will come on. Or if you're setting the exposure, you'll get zebras. And if I turn that off, they go away. Now, you can choose what you'd like to put up there, and they have several different options. This is completely subjective. I would tend to put stuff that I use the most up there, and I like the reactive analytics. Hiding interface might be a good one too, occasionally. That way you could clear it off, because one thing I'm noticing, again, I haven't used this long, but this top information here, while I love it, it is a black bar. And the top of the screen is there. And so it could be a little bit confusing when you first look, especially if you're on a tighter shot. Like right there, if you just quickly glance, you might think your framing is weird because of that line touching his head. But if you click it there, it goes away and the framing, the headroom looks proper. And so you could click that and do that. Just a minor little thing. Maybe they should make that a little more transparent, or maybe it should be clear with just the numbers coming down. I'm not sure. Again, I'm brand new to this app, just like you. But overall, I do like what they're doing. I like the new color scheme. You probably noticed that the reticles are a new color. They're kind of a bright yellow or maybe an orangey yellow. Easier to see. They were white, I believe, before. And they still go red when you lock them, so I do like that. White sometimes when you're outside shooting, and if you're shooting into the sky, for example, a bright sky, you could lose the reticle and you just couldn't see it. I'd always have to tilt away to something darker to find the reticle and go back. So I assume that's why they did it. But overall, I think it's a pretty nice update. I really do. Now, is it worth subscribing at $50 a year? That I can't tell you. For me, as I've said before, I'm going to do it for a year and see what I think, and we'll go from there. Now, I've been beta testing the app for just a few short days before the release, but one thing I noticed that I thought was pretty cool, if you are a current V6 subscriber, you get a discount on the weekly or the yearly subscription. So instead of $2.99 a week, it would be $1.99 a week, or if you want to do the yearly, that's what I did myself. Instead of $49.99, you save $10 and it's $39.99 for the first year. And remember, the biggest thing is you can revert back to legacy FiLMiC Pro version 6 by going into the settings menu and information, and then down here, download FiLMiC Legacy. So you always have that. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now understand though, I am not a fan of the subscription app model, not at all. I'm just trying to make the best of it because I do like FiLMiC Pro. But remember, there are great app alternatives out there like VCam or Cinema P3, which might be my favorite right now. And I'll probably do a comparison video between those and others against FiLMiC Pro, the new FiLMiC Pro, in the near future. So what do you think? Will you be subscribing? Are you gonna give it a try? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. This is Blake Calhoun. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.